Dear viewers, welcome to another episode of Family Focus. As always, we bring to you all the community issues, family issues, things like domestic violence. We could have drug abuse, alcohol abuse, financial abuse, or even how to manage those things. It doesn't always have to come under abuse, but we bring experts every single week and we talk to them about the ways that we can tackle them, where we can go for support, and how it affects us, not just as British citizens, but also as somebody who's part of the Bengali community, maybe also from different religions and backgrounds, and how we bring all that together. And each show is bringing an expert, and these experts come to us and they talk to us about their expertise and the current hot topics. So today our topic is on something really, really important, and it's on violence against women and girls. And under this, there's a lot of things that come sort of under this topic. So obviously one show isn't enough to cover all of those areas, but we will try our best to tackle as much as we can today. So with me today, I have two very, very special guests. One guest you will know because she is a family member of ATN Bangla, and we have another expert with us, and they will introduce themselves. So if I go over to Urmi Afa here, please introduce yourself, not that you need an introduction, and tell us a bit about your background and why you're here today.
Okay, thank you, Amina. অবশ্যই আমাকে আপনারা চেনেন ATN পরিবারের সদস্য, এবং এটা একটা ইন্টারেস্টিং এক্সপেরিয়েন্স যখন আমি গেস্টের চেয়ারে বসে আছি। আমার অবশ্যই একজন টিভি প্রেজেন্টার, একজন কমিউনিটি অ্যাক্টিভিস্টের পাশাপাশি আমার যেটা প্রফেশনাল ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড সেটা হচ্ছে আমি একজন কোয়ালিফাইড সোশ্যাল ওয়ার্কার, এবং আমি একটি স্থানীয় কাউন্সিলের একজন অত্যন্ত সিনিয়র ম্যানেজমেন্ট পদে রয়েছি, যেখানে চাইল্ড প্রোটেকশন নিয়ে আমি কাজ করি। সুতরাং আজকে যে বিষয়টি ভোগ, অর্থাৎ ভায়োলেন্স এগেইনস্ট উমেন্স অ্যান্ড গার্লস অথবা ডোমেস্টিক ভায়োলেন্স আমরা যেটা বলে থাকি, কিংবা ডোমেস্টিক অ্যাবিউজ, সে ব্যাপারে কথা বলবার জন্য এসেছি। সুতরাং আমাকে আজকে এই চেয়ারে একজন এক্সপার্ট হিসেবে বসেছি, এবং আশা করি আমার অভিজ্ঞতা, আমার এক্সপেরিয়েন্স আপনাদের সঙ্গে ভাগ করে নিতে পারবো। Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if we go over to our guest here, please introduce yourself and give us a little bit about your background.
So my name's Councillor Kabir Ahmed. I'm the Cabinet Member for Safe Communities and Community Cohesion in the London Borough of Tower Hamlets. Within my portfolio, I cover the Vogue agenda, which is violence against women and girls. And I've come here just to show that there are male allies in order to tackle and challenge violence against women and girls.
Thank you so much. So obviously it's such a broad topic. We had a brief discussion before we started the show. However, I will try and go into the main hot topics today. So Urmi Afa, for you, violence against women and girls is a serious national issue, and it remains quite a big concern in the UK. From your perspective, what is the overall situation, and how would you assess the scale of the problem today?
I think I'll respond to the second part of your question. Scale of the problem is enormous.
Yeah.
And it's not only prevalent within the Bangladeshi community, it's across the board. It happens within rich people, it happens with poor people, it happens with people with disability, it happens between people who are celebrities, people who are very known in the community. So the scale is very, very significant. In terms of domestic violence, দর্শক আমরা ডোমেস্টিক ভায়োলেন্স বলতে যেটা বুঝি যে একজন মানুষকে আপনি শারীরিকভাবে, মানসিকভাবে এবং তার চিন্তা শক্তিকে আপনি আঘাত করছেন, এবং এটি একটি অপরাধ। দিস ইজ এ ক্রাইম। এ ব্যাপারে আর কোনো দ্বিমত নেই। আপনি তাকে অল্প করে মারলেন কি বেশি করে মারলেন কি সে দোষ করেছে মারলেন, এই সমস্ত আর্গুমেন্টে যাওয়ারও কোনো স্কোপ নেই। দিস ইজ আ ক্রাইম। দিস ইজ সামথিং দ্যাট নিডস টু বি ট্যাকলড, নিডস টু বি অ্যাড্রেসড। এবং ডোমেস্টিক ভায়োলেন্সের যেটা প্রধান তিনটি ফিচার্স, একটা হচ্ছে আপনি যাকে আঘাত করছেন, অর্থাৎ এখানে যেটা আমরা বলছি উমেন এবং গার্লস, তাকে আপনি মানসিকভাবে আঘাত করছেন, তাকে আপনি শারীরিকভাবে আঘাত করছেন, এবং তাকে আপনি সামাজিকভাবে আঘাত করছেন। সামাজিকভাবে আঘাত করছেন এই জন্যই যে আপনি যখন কাউকে আঘাত করছেন আপনার মানসিক সুস্থতা নিয়ে আমরা প্রশ্ন তুলব। আপনি মানসিকভাবে সুস্থ কিনা, কারণ একজন মানসিকভাবে সুস্থ মানুষ কখনো অন্য মানুষকে আঘাত করতে পারে না যখন সে ইমোশনালি এবং সাইকোলজিক্যালি এফেক্টেড হয়। আমরা অনেক সময় বলি, ও তার অনেক রাগ, বাট তার অনেক রাগ ইজ নট অ্যান এক্সকিউজ। তিনি মানসিকভাবে অসুস্থ বলেই তিনি তার রাগটাকে কন্ট্রোল করতে পারেন না।
Of course, and there's help for anger management and things like
Absolutely,
that.
হেল্প তো সব কিছুর জন্য আছে, কিন্তু মুশকিল হচ্ছে যে আমরা তো স্বীকারই করতে চাই না যে দ্যাট ইজ আ প্রবলেম।
But also, I find like within our community, we justify the fact that a man or a boy, a young man, can have that anger in them, and it's okay because they're a man.
অ্যাবসলিউটলি। এবং আই জাস্ট ওয়ান্ট টু অ্যাড, আজ এটা শুধু আমাদের কমিউনিটিতে না, এটা কিন্তু সব কমিউনিটিতেই যে আমরা জাস্টিফাই করেছি। সে ফর এক্সাম্পল, দুই বড় ভাই, 16 বছরের বোন আছে, এই যে ভায়োলেন্স এগেইনস্ট উইমেন্স অ্যান্ড গার্লস, পরিবারে হয়তো একটা টিনেজার মেয়ে আছে, সে এই দেশে বড় হচ্ছে, সে হয়তো রাত 10টার সময় বাড়ি ফিরল না, তার 10টার সময় বাড়ি ফেরার কথা, সে 10টার সময় বাড়ি ফিরল না। দুই ভাই কি করলো, কিংবা এক বড় ভাই কি করলো, সে বাড়ি ফেরার পরে তাকে খুবভাবে মারলো। দ্য মাদার ক্যান জাস্টিফাই, ও সে টাইমলি ফেরে নাই, ফুরি তো ফিরছে না গড় টাইমলি, বাট দ্যাট ইজ নট অ্যান এক্সকিউজ অর জাস্টিফিকেশন টু ফিজিক্যালি হার্ম সামওয়ান, বিকজ ফিজিক্যাল হার্ম তো আমরা চোখে দেখতে পাই। If you give her a slap, you can see there are marks. The emotional harm, psychological harm, you can't measure, you can't assess.
Yes, and also like there's quite a lot of that at the moment in terms of like emotional abuse. What we see is because people are aware of the physical abuse, like children or women, they've got places they can go, even if it's reporting it to the police, you can show a mark on your body. But how do they report emotional abuse? And how seriously is that taken? Because there's no evidence for it.
Yeah, it's very serious. How seriously it's taken, that's a question. Because আমাদের সমাজ কিভাবে, সব সমাজেই সমাজ কিভাবে দেখে ইমোশনাল অ্যাবিউজ। আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, ভুল করছে, মাফ করে দাও, আমরাই তো বলি আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে ভুল করছে, মাফ করে দাও, কিন্তু এটার যে ইমোশনাল ইম্প্যাক্টটা, ইমোশনাল এফেক্টটা, সাইকোলজিক্যাল এফেক্টটা আমরা যার হয় শুধু সে বোঝে।
Of course. And where is it that, where can people go for help? Because you're in the kind of in that sort of field. So women and girls, I know we're going to go over to our guest here in a second and he'll tell us about what he does. But from your experience, do people actually reach out for help, or do they take it until one day they can't anymore?
There's a combination. There's a combination of factors. মানুষ কখনো কখনো they report it because যাদের মাথায় কাজ করতেছে যে অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমাকে মারা মানে আমার ইমোশনাল একটা টর্চার, আমার সাইকোলজিক্যাল একটা টর্চার, আমার কনফিডেন্স। এবং যারা পারপিট্রেটার্স অফ ভায়োলেন্স, সেটা সব ধরনের যারা ভায়োলেন্স পারপিট্রেট করে, তাদের কিন্তু একটাই উদ্দেশ্য থাকে যে টু ব্রেক ইউর কনফিডেন্স। অ্যাবিউজার্স will firstly target your confidence, যাতে করে you feel যে there must be something wrong with me.
Oh, I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough. Something wrong with me. Otherwise, why would I be targeted? অন্য 5টা বউ তো মার খায় না, আমি কেন মার খাচ্ছি? Because there must be something wrong. এবং এইটা perpetrator will tell the victim যে if you tell anyone, তারা তোমার বাচ্চা নিবগি. If you tell anyone,
let's come back to that because that's really important. Dear viewers, we're going on a very short break, but we are coming back to discuss, children and how that's affecting them then. So please stay with us and we will be back very shortly. Thank you. Viewers, welcome back to Family Focus, where today's topic is on violence against women and girls. And we're not just in generally talking about the Bangladeshi community, we are talking about the national crisis that we've got at the moment in every community, every race, religion. However, obviously we're a Bengali channel and we are going to try and focus on some of the issues that our community is facing and how we can tackle those with our experts here today. So if I go over to my expert here, Kabir Bhai here. Tell us a little bit about your views on what we were talking about in terms of the violence against women and girls and what's happening at the moment. From your kind of background, what do you see and how does it come across to you?
So, firstly, I think it's really important to understand that violence against women and girls, or domestic violence, is not just from an ex-partner or a current partner. Mm-hmm. It could be siblings, mm-hmm. It could be parents, it could be others in the household, even children, mm-hmm. Older children, mm-hmm. on parents. So there's a wide range of sort of actions from individuals within various dynamics of the family that can be perpetrators. I think another element to understand around that, when we talk about violence against women and girls, it's not just about physical violence. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more to it, and you explored psychological sort of violence a little while ago. But with that, you've got various other kind of forms of coercion, such as controlling the money they have, you know, from benefits to actual physical money, taking mm-hmm. their salaries, their wages, to harassment, to locking them up, in terms of controlling who they speak to. So a lot of people suffer in silence. And I suppose I'm here to say that, and I'm representing Tower Hamlets here as a councillor of Tower Hamlets, what we've tried to do, I mean, the Mayor has made it one of our top priorities to tackle this, and we know violence against women and girls goes across the board throughout the country and across multiple communities. However, as a local authority, we have drawn attention to it because mm-hmm. when you draw attention to it, it makes people aware of the support that they can have. So we've got various services. More recently, we opened the Nari Centre, which is a women's centre that provides advocacy work, also sort of building on capacity, and it's dedicated to supporting women. And within that, you've got various advocacy services that operate. We've got the specialist IDVA service that we commission out with Solace at the moment. And in addition to that, the council's got its own domestic violence and violence against women and girls team that operate within the council. So I suppose for us, because it's one of our top priorities, it's important we come on shows like this mm-hmm. and we make it known to people that it is not acceptable. We work directly with the Interfaith Forum, with the Council of Mosques, and some people may try to use sort of religion in order to justify abuse on women.
And again,
you know, every kind of mosque and institution I've interacted with condemn it, and you know, say clearly it's not acceptable to, you know, carry out such sort of punishments on women.
So when we come to religion, so of course our religion is so wide and varied unless you look into specific hadiths and things, but it does come down to sort of like there are young women or girls as such who are growing up in the UK with the Western kind of culture, which isn't quite fitting in right with the parents at home who still want to hold on to, you know, the traditional ways and those kind of values. And they are using religion to justify why, you know, oppression is allowed, violence is allowed. Like if you don't pray, it says in the hadith that we can hit you until you pray. You know, they're using specific things that works with them rather than looking at the broader picture. So I know at some point we're going to try and bring on a known person from an Islamic point of view to try and give us an insight on that. But what's your view on that then? Like, what have you come across?
So I'm not a religious scholar. So
yeah, but just as someone in general.
Yeah, I won't comment specifically on hadith and so on and so forth because I'm not as knowledgeable around that. But as Afa sort of clearly stated, this is against the law.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you commit a criminal activity, then you will be arrested and held to account for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to draw a line there.
Yeah, so whether it's physical, emotional, financial abuse, it is abuse and it is a crime.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm not going to create a discussion around, you know, where it's justified, not justified, because it's against the law, it's not justified, and it's not something that I will subscribe to. So I think it's important to understand that when we live in a country, religious opinions as well as our sort of social well-being, we need to abide by the law of the country. And, you know, there's a moral perspective on this as well. I mean, I would go behind the rationale in trying to identify what would the abuse actually achieve. And, you know, it's not as simplistic as you simply raise your hand or you torture someone over something that will simply follow your way of mind. You know, things are about education, things are about inclusion, not exclusion and violence.
And if you don't know something, of course, there's lots of help about, there's lots of advice about, and we can seek to get that kind of help. We do have a very small clip to show our viewers. It is the perspective of an imam and I believe a priest. So we are going to show those clips. So stay with us, we're still here. Thank you.
Why would you be abusing God-created creature? Stop domestic violence. Stop it. You are sinning against God. And if you want to make heaven, stop domestic violence. The Bible says it. Quran says it. Another holy book says it. Stop it. It's a sin.
আমরা এই কমিউনিটির মাঝে থোড়া একটা আমরা হয় এটা বেমার একটা আছে এটা হলো ডোমেস্টিক ভায়োলেন্স আর এই বেমারটা আমরা খালি কমিউনিটির এক্সিস্ট করে না বহুত কমিউনিটি হয়তো এক্সিস্ট করে কিন্তু এটা হলো আমরা রেসপন্সিবিলিটি যে আমরা যেহেতু আমরা কমিউনিটির অর এটা আমরা অ্যাড্রেস করতাম আমরা জানি রাসূলুল্লাহ সাল্লাল্লাহু আলাইহি ওয়াসাল্লামের হাদিসে কইছেন হলো বেস্ট অ্যামং ইউ যারা তার ফ্যামিলি লুক আফটার করে বাদে রাসূলুল্লাহ সাল্লাল্লাহু আলাইহি ওয়াসাল্লাম কইছেন বলে আই অ্যাম দ্য বেস্ট টু মাই ফ্যামিলি সো ইট ইজ এ রেসপন্সিবিলিটি হলো আমরা ফ্যামিলি আফটার লুক আফটার করতাম ইন দ্য বেস্ট ম্যানার টু বিকাম ফ্রম দ্য বেস্ট যারা কোনো প্রবলেম ফাইন আমরা কমিউনিটির মাঝে তে তারা নানি হলে গিয়া স্ট্রিট রাইট অথরিটির মাঝে যাইতা তাও হামলেস কাউন্সিল ওক যারা ওক তারা গেছে গিয়া কমপ্লেইন করতা আর তারা গেছে তাকে অ্যাডভাইস নিতা যারা অথরিটি আসে না তারা গেছে ই খবরটা আয় আর ই নিউজটা আয় বলে কেউ বলে আর সাফারিং ফ্রম ডোমেস্টিক ভায়োলেন্স তারা রেসপন্সিবিলিটি কিতা তারা এটা অ্যাড্রেস করতা
মহিলারা আমরার কমিউনিটির মাঝে অসহায় না থাকিয়া ওর সাথে কথা কওয়া রিয়েলি ইম্পর্টেন্ট বিকজ বেশিরভাগ দেখা যায় যে এইরকম মেন্টাল স্ট্রেসে মানুষ আত্মহত্যা করে আর এরকম ইনসিডেন্টস হয়েছে আমরা কমিউনিটির মাঝে You shouldn't feel alone. Any kind of financial issues or physical abuse that you've been facing or sexual abuse, please feel free to contact first of all the police or if you're in immediate danger or the council. Look at the council website.
Dear viewers, welcome back, and you saw that very short clip on what a priest says. So from the Christian point of view, we've had an imam on there, which is the Islamic point of view, and we've had someone from the Tower Hamlets Council who's in charge of all the interfaith kind of forums, and you've heard their perspective on it. So I'm going to go to Urmia for now. We were briefly discussing children abusing their parents, for instance, and where that comes from before we went on the break. So if we kind of pick up from that and, give your take on that.
The দুটো perspective আছে. I'm speaking in Bengali for the benefit of our viewers, majority of our viewers. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
So there are two aspects of it.
Yeah.
One aspect is when children are being exposed to violence, they find that kind of behavior is the norm. So when a son or a daughter sees that when father comes home,
Yeah.
he is abusing or violent towards the mother, they pick up that that is the normal behavior, because children can be very, very easily conditioned. That is their learned behavior. So they will behave in turn in the same way with the mother or the sister or his wife when he gets married or when he gets older.
Yeah.
So that's one aspect of it, when they're exposed to violence within the family home. আরেকটা aspect হচ্ছে, as we were discussing during the break, when we see people with unfortunately learning difficulties, and they've got children
Yeah.
who do not have learning difficulties, unfortunately, what the research and the data shows that in our community we have a strong grooming group, people who
Okay.
exploit.
Okay.
So Kabir Bhai will know in terms of substance misuse, right? So they pick up,
Yeah.
they keep their eyes on vulnerable children, vulnerable families. So when they see a family where there are disabled or parents with learning difficulties,
Yeah.
but their children are not with learning difficulties, so they pick up those families, groom them in a way, so they are then made to believe that your parents are not worthy, you can abuse them, get the money out of them. And
Yeah.
once they're able to get the money from the parents, then obviously exploiters or groomers are very, very cunning, very, very clever. So then they take the money out of the children and make the children become prey for them. So they then become
Drug runners.
drug
and-
runners.
Yeah.
Then they become themselves drug abusers.
Okay.
Because you need to hook people into
Yeah.
drugs to make them do things that
things
you
for you.
want. Because drug abuse is like that. Until you are hooked into drugs, you can't become that level of desperate
Yeah.
to get money out of whoever. I mean, you will see, আমরা তো দেখি যে যারা drug abusers, they will take anything. একটা পেনও চুরি করে নিয়ে বিক্রি করে দিবে 2 পাউন্ডে।
Of course, yeah.
একটা ফোনও চুরি করে, একটা ভাঙ্গা বোতলও চুরি করে নিয়ে দিবে, if they know that they can sell it for 2 pound, 5 pound,
Yeah.
whatever then they can get. একটা গাড়ি ভেঙে জানে যে কিছু নাই গাড়িতে, হয়তো একটা গাড়ির ভিতর God knows কিছু একটা নিয়ে নিল, so
Yeah.
that they can get 5 pound.
Yeah.
Because it's coming out of the desperation.
Yeah.
So these are the two aspects of
So
when
where
children
can
become.
parents go then? Like, let's say there's a situation like that where the child is abusing the parent. Where can they go for help? What's their line of help?
There is a significant change in the criminal justice system in terms of part of the reform of
Okay.
government's reform agenda, where everybody, every single person, whether that's a professional or person from the community, we all have a responsibility to report something. If you know that
Okay.
your family or your bhai or your বোন is something happening to them, আমরা তো অনেক সময় মনে করি যে আচ্ছা বাইক না করে লিছে,
Yeah.
হ্যাঁ, আর বাস্তিও করে লিছে, ঠিক আছে তারারে
let it be.
let it be, তারারে দিমনে একটু বকা দিয়া দিমনে, but that is not the case, because the minute you realize that this is something that's happening, you have a responsibility. Again, as Kabir Bhai said, this is now a mandatory thing.
Right.
And especially if you're a professional, doctor, nurse, teacher, police, kono community organization, if you're a professional, banker, whoever you are, housing officer, you must report it to the police.
Right. Okay.
Whether you are wrong or right, the police will have, the social services will have the responsibility to investigate. Your responsibility is to
Report it.
So that's a significant change in terms of reform agenda. Secondly, local authorities, they have got exploitation team who would work with this kind of children who are being clearly exploited. At the same time, there are adult learning disabilities team who will support the parents if they are victim of violence.
Violence.
Because adult also has got safeguarding team
Okay.
who can protect parents from being abused or being violated against. So number of organizations will work or need to work together to tackle this situation. The child needs to be supported by the exploitation team. Police needs to be involved to see who is actually at the grooming gangs. So to stop them grooming these children, the adult team needs to support the parents with learning difficulties or disabilities so that they are supported and protected, because there are opportunities for the parents to have their account money coming to a local authority's account. So
Right.
bachara will not be able to get money out from the parents.
Ah, I see.
So
Okay.
people with learning difficulties or disabilities, adult social care can do that. So adult social care can do a account for the parents where will be managed by their allocated social worker.
Okay.
So there are a number of things
There's
people can do,
things-
but the important thing is reporting
Reporting.
and bringing that out.
Great. Thank you so much. So if I go over to Kabir Bhai here, you predominantly work with like substance abuse and stuff. So where we touched on substance abuse,
Yeah.
what kind of things are you seeing in the field that you're in, like in terms of young people and adults as well? Substance abuse, how is it starting?
So I suppose, I mean, we've all seen things around county lines. So when we talk about exploitation, there's
Yeah.
been sort of, we've also heard about the grooming gangs in up north, Rotherham and so on and so forth. And a lot of that also run concurrently with violence against women and girls. So yes, there is an element of that, but I'm going to put another twist to the discussion. So some of the perpetrators aren't poor. Some
Yeah.
of the perpetrators are actually very well educated and are very affluent. And for a number of people, it's also a power dynamic as well. It's about control. It's about, manipulation.
Yeah.
It's, some individuals, they get a kick out of that level of control, showing off. They see it as part of their identity to be able to force others to
Yeah.
bend at their will. So there's multiple reasons behind it. But I mean, what I want to get to as part of this show is that we want to promote that individuals who are suffering don't need to suffer in silence. There is support out there. I'm here as a representative of Tower Hamlets Council to say that we have support within the council's framework. We have resident hubs that people can walk into and try to get support and redirected for support. We have the Nari Centre, as I mentioned before. And as Afa mentioned, there's social services, adult social care, as well as young people services. So there are multiple, even in schools, you can go in schools and report it to your teachers as well. So this will all filter through and cascade through in order to get support. That's on the one side. On the other side, the perpetrators, yes, of course there is punishment as well, but there's also re-education. Ultimately, we want to live in a society that's civil. We want to live in a society that has people's well-being at heart. So while we tackle sort of violence against women and girls, we also need to see how the perpetrators can be reformed as well. So again, support comes in all forms, but it's very important that those who are suffering domestic violence, particularly women and girls, need to be able to report the issue so that that support can be provided, because they're not alone in doing it. I was going through some stats just today as prep for this show, and I think it's 1 to 2 women a week die as a result of domestic violence nationally in this country.
Wow.
So that's the severity of it. So, and I'm
pretty
not saying
high, yeah.
it's a very high, and that's a single cause, for women and girls to die.
Do you find that a lot of youngsters or young women or even women themselves who are now substance abusers were victims of domestic violence at some point and they've kind of turned to drugs to kind of take the mind off things? Or
I have come across cases
there's a
over the
clear link.
years.
There's a clear
I mean, without going into too much detail, some of it is really, really gory. Okay, I've come across siblings who, in order to protect their younger sibling from sexual abuse, have put themselves forward to family members. Okay,
wow.
and the way they could cope with it is by numbing themselves with, serious Class A drugs
Yeah.
like heroin, and that became their route into drugs use. So again, I don't want to sidetrack it away to sort of substance misuse, because the key focus I want to bring out in this discussion is that for victims of domestic violence, it's really important that they report it and they get support, because every single local authority in this country will have a need for service, will have some form of domestic violence support.
Right. Thank you so much. Dear
Can I
viewers,
sorry,
Yeah.
I just wanted to add to Kabir Bhai. Kabir Bhai, I've got some questions, stroke observations for Tower Hamlets Council.
Sure.
So obviously,
We've literally got 20 seconds.
Okay,
Let's go
that's
on
fine.
break
So
and
we'll
continue
come
this.
back after the
Dear
break, yeah.
viewers, we're just going on a very short break and we will be back after the break to continue our discussions. Please stay with us. Thank you. Dear viewers, welcome back to Family Focus, and today's topic is on violence against women and girls, and we have with us two very knowledgeable and experienced experts with us here today. I have Urmi Afa, who is obviously an ATN family member. We have Kabir Bhai here, whose background is kind of like not just in Tower Hamlets, but he's dealing with substance abuse, and he does have some dealings with domestic violence as well. So before we went on break, you guys started a little conversation that we couldn't quite finish. Shall we continue from there, and we can let our viewers back in?
Sure.
Two observations, Kabir Bhai, for Tower Hamlets, because obviously Tower Hamlets has got the commitment and the vision. So in terms of support for the victims, how committed is the council to offer them religiously language-based support? Because that's very, very important, because you can't just take a victim with the children out and place somewhere where that is a really unknown territory. I mean, for example, আপনি একজন মহিলারে নিলা গিটার হামলেস থাকি তারে প্লেস করলা সাউথ এন্ডে অথবা প্লেস করলা তারে সাউথ লন্ডনে কোনো এক জায়গায়, দ্যাট এরিয়া ইজ টোটালি আননোন টু হার। তার যদি লিমিটেড ইংলিশ থাকে এবং কোহারসিভ অ্যান্ড কন্ট্রোল বিহেভিয়ার, অ্যাজ ইউ আর্লিয়ার মেনশন, পারপিট্রেটার বা তার জামাইয়া তো তারে অমন কন্ট্রোলের মাঝে রাখছে, হে কোনোদিন দোকানেও গেছে না। তো সাউথ লন্ডনে গিয়া হে দোকানেও গিয়া কিলাখান রুটি কিনবো, কিলাখান দুধ কিনবো, এ জানে না। শি ইজ অলরেডি ভেরি ভেরি ডিভাস্টেটেড না। ফোন আইলো তার শাশুড়ির কাছ থেকে যে বেটি ইটা কিতা করছো, কিলাখান করলা, হে তখন খান দিয়া মরে, আম্মা আমি বুঝছি না। That's the point that she will start thinking, I need to go back. So that's how the victims go back to the abusers. So my question to Tower Hamlets Council is, what are your steps to provide religiously and culturally related support to victims? Secondly, as you already mentioned or earlier mentioned, আমাদের দুই টাইপের পারপিট্রেটর আছে। একজন পারপিট্রেটর হচ্ছে, এক টাইপের পারপিট্রেটর হচ্ছে তারা কোনোভাবেই শুধরাইব না, they need to end up in jail or they need to end up in really secured environment. Second টাইপের পারপিট্রেটর আছে যারা করছে perpetration of violence, কিন্তু actually they may have some potential to change, because আমরা তো চাই না যে সব বাচ্চারা বাবা ছাড়া থাকুক। আমরা তো চাই যে পারপিট্রেটর হইলো সে যদি নিজের ভুলটা বুঝতে পারে, then we must provide them that support. So there are number of programs called Caring Dads, but again the challenges are for number of council, ওই প্রোগ্রামগুলা linguistically supported না, because ওই প্রোগ্রামগুলা মোর ইংলিশ ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ দিয়ে করা হয়। সুতরাং যে পারপিট্রেটর যার ফার্স্ট ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ ইজ নট ইংলিশ, তারা কিন্তু ওই প্রোগ্রাম থেকে বেনিফিট নিতে পারে না। সুতরাং Tower Hamlets Council, whether you are planning to offer that kind of specialist program, but from a linguistically and culturally supported programs.
So, আমি আগে যেটা বলছিলাম, আমাদের নারী সেন্টার যেটা, আমাদের ইটফা সার্ভিস যেটা, as well as within the council, we have multilingual staff. So তাদের ভাষা সিলেটি, বাংলা, সোমালি, ইংলিশ তো অবশ্যই আছে, আরও কিছু ভাষা ওনার ওয়ার্কফোর্সে কথা বলে। So we are trying to be as diverse as possible. So in terms of the support that will be provided, it's multilingual, so they will get that support. In terms of the networking, as I understand, people aren't just sort of put in a cab and shooed off somewhere. There is interaction. And as you know, sort of through both IDFA and the council, as well as Marek meetings, there will be plans put in place to provide support packages for victims. And ideally, I mean, everything is assessed on a case-by-case basis, so I can't sort of say...
No, but you need to have the provision.
Yeah. So of course, we want to support them the best we can, and if there are challenges there, then if we are notified, then of course we will try to overcome those challenges. And if it's a religious challenge, because there are no mosques or anything, and they find themselves totally isolated, that in itself is another huge issue. Because, you know, what people perceive as normality, if they're pulled out of that, and put in total isolation, that could have further psychological impacts on them. So, it's not something we want to pursue in that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
in that case, you need to assess what would be the need of this family. আপনি ওই ফ্যামিলির নিয়ে সাউথ এন্ডে ফেলাইবা না, আপনি ওই ফ্যামিলিটা পসিবলি ওয়ালথাম ফরেস্টে রাখলা, ওয়ালথাম স্টোর, নিউয়াম, রেড ব্রিজ, যেখানে some of the familiarities are there.
So without giving too much away, we'll always try to locate them. But again, in most cases, the perpetrator is usually the one who's kind of forced away. Okay, if the police are involved, there may be kind of restrictions, bail conditions that they can't,
like a non-molestation order and things like that,
and so on and so forth. So it's not always the case that the victim is the one who's shooed away, kind of thing. However, there are times when they have to go to a refuge in other areas, and again, that's done in cooperation with the victim, and of course they'll be advised in their mother tongue. And worst case scenario, you would use services like Language Line in order to communicate with them properly. But for Tower Hamlets, we have Sylheti speakers, we have Bangla speakers, we have Somali speakers, and of course we have English.
How can women and girls access the Nari Centre though? What are you guys doing to promote it and raise awareness that it's there?
Yeah, so we've done lots of sort of publicity around the Nari Centre through various sort of community language channels, as well as sort of advertising within Tower Hamlets, our sort of quarterly newspaper, our East End we have, as well as the comms that we've done through social media, and the launch of it as well. And I think another important factor is what we have in Tower Hamlets is the Women's Commission as well. So that's 400, I think the cohort is around 400 women who speak about their experiences in order to shape policy for the council to be more sort of supportive of females. And one interesting fact for Tower Hamlets is we actually have a positive pay gap in Tower Hamlets Council, where women are earning more than men. We're, I think, probably the only local authority in the country which has that.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of there might be women at home who don't have access to a phone or social media and things like that. Is there anything that you're doing to kind of promote it to them, or do you have a knock on the door service?
So our East End goes through every single letterbox.
Yeah. But what if they can't read and write?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you have that. We can only promote it within the channels we have. I mean, and again, we can't get through to everyone. But again, using channels like this, they, if they can't read or write, they might watch a community language channel such as yours. And we've done various different news events and stuff like that.
Can they just turn up to the Nari Centre if they want, or do they have to book an appointment? How does that work?
Yeah, so it depends on the service you want to use. But if you do go there, then you can be directed to the types of services
and where is
you need.
The centre?
So the Nari Centre is on Balance Road.
On Balance Road,
Yeah,
right, okay.
in
So they can
Tower
just turn up, ask for the service that they want, and they'll point them in the right direction.
That's right.
Right,
That's right.
okay.
So there's multiple women's services that are there to support women.
May I also place another observation, Kabir Bhai? In terms of, this is a really good initiative of Nari Centre, predominantly for women. As Amina was saying, how do you get the most vulnerable ones? Because the most vulnerable are the one who is living in isolation, who are not allowed to go out. The only place that they will possibly go on their own is the school. In the morning, they go to drop their children. So maybe one of the initiative you can consider that workers from the Nari Centre can go to various schools and run coffee mornings, because no one will actually suspect. Even the perpetrator will not suspect. Koi geslai, school taki tara coffee khawaise. That's fine. Kichu kono suspicious kichu na. Because you have to be also careful, because these perpetrators could also be very, very violent.
Yeah, of course.
So when they know that their wives or the victims are approaching authorities, they get really, really stroppy. So we need to be mindful that we do it sensitively. So the coffee mornings in the school could be a good idea, because you have got the Nari Centre, workers from that center can approach various school and run coffee mornings.
Yeah.
So I suppose.
Just an idea.
Yeah. So the Nari Centre is one element of it, but as I said, we've got the IDFA service we have, as well as the domestic violence team in the council and the Vogue team in the council as well. So, and there's a hate crime team which is built in with that as well. So, you know, we have multiple approaches, and each of these areas cover sort of multiple areas. And then you've got, the schools have also got safeguarding teams as well. And then you've got the social services element as well. So it's a combination between third sector and statutory services that come together in order to support support against violence against.
I know, but if you really want to see a meaningful change,
Sure.
Yeah.
you have to get to the ground level
Yeah.
where the victims are actually getting the information direct, because they will not be able to walk to the council office. They will not be able to go and say to the police unless it's a very serious situation. Usually they will suffer in silence.
But even in very serious situations, it's not the actual victim that's calling the police. It's somebody. It's like a neighbor,
Yeah.
or someone's walked
or
past,
the children.
or the children. You know, and they're the ones. And the victim will still be like, "No, I'm okay. I want to still stay here." Right? We've got Imam on the call at the moment, so we're going to go and get his. His name is Tajul Islam. I believe he is also part of the ATN family,
Khatib Tajul
and he will
Islam.
give us his perspective on it. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear us?
Yes, Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I can hear you.
জি ভাইয়া, so আজকে আমরা topic হইলো on violence against women and young girls. Islamically, can you give us some perspective of this, how we should be tackling it, and what does Islam say about violence, let alone violence against women and young girls?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة. বস্তুত আল্লাহ রাব্বুল আলামিন ঘোষণা করছেন কোরআনে কারীমের মধ্যে যে মানব জাতিরে পয়দা করা হয়েছে, সৃষ্টি করা হয়েছে একটা পয়েন্ট থেকে, মিন নাফসিন ওয়াহিদা, আদম আলাইহিস সালাতু ওয়াস সালাম থেকে তার ওয়াইফ এবং এর বাদে জেনারেশন বাই জেনারেশন ওখান থেকে উৎপত্তি হয়েছে। তো সৃষ্টিগতভাবে মানুষের সন্তান, এবং আল্লাহ তাআলা এই মানুষ হিসাবে প্রত্যেকটা মানুষের মানবিক গুণাবলীর মাধ্যমে তার মানবিকতার দিক দিয়া আল্লাহর চৌকে সব সমান। সেই হিসাবে একটা আপনি নারীর কথা হইছেন যে নারী, আমি সিলেটি ভাষায় মাত্রাম, বিকজ আমরা ভিউয়ার্স তো সারাও সিলেটি বের লাগে, যদি শুদ্ধ ভাষা কইতাম ইজ ওকে। সো নারী হইল গিয়া পুরুষের বিপরীত। তো নারী কখনো প্রথম সৃষ্টির শুরুতে নারী ছিল আদম আলাইহিস সালাতু ওয়াস সালামের ওয়াইফ। এই নারী পরবর্তীতে হয় মা। এই নারী হয় যখন স্বামী স্ত্রীর সংসারের মধ্যে সন্তান হিসাবে চলে আসে, তখন হয় মেয়ে। আর মেয়ে যখন হয় তখন ছেলেও হয়, মেয়ে হয়, তখন হয় বোন। কোন এক পর্যায়ে এই নারী হয় নানি অথবা দাদি। এই জন্য ইসলামে নারীর অধিকার সুপ্রতিষ্ঠিত এবং তাদের সম্মান এবং ইজ্জত। যদি বলেন আপনি স্বামীর অধিকার, স্ত্রীর অধিকার, আল্লাহ তাআলা ক্লিয়ারলি বলেছেন ওয়া আশিরুহুন্না বিল মারুফ, তাদের সাথে উত্তম ব্যবহারের মাধ্যমে জীবন যাপন করো। উত্তম কাকে বলে? সবচেয়ে সুন্দরতম আচরণ। আল্লাহ রাসূল বলেন আমি আমার ফ্যামিলির মধ্যে সবচেয়ে উত্তম, আমি আমার ফ্যামিলি, আমার ওয়াইফ, তারা আমাকে স্বীকৃতি দিয়েছেন যে আমি বেস্ট পারসন ফর দেম। তো স্ত্রীর স্বীকৃতি একজন স্বামীর জন্য আল্লাহ এই হাদিস অনুযায়ী অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। যে যেখানে রাসূল নিজে বলেছেন যে আমি আমার স্ত্রীদের কাছে ভালো, এই জন্য আমি সমাজের কাছে ভালো। তো একজন নারীর স্বীকৃতি একজন পুরুষের সম্মান এবং তার ইজ্জত বৃদ্ধি পায় এবং তার উপর নির্ভর করে। তো ইসলাম, চিন্তা করতে পারেন আপনি যে ইসলাম নারীকে কতটুকু মর্যাদা দিয়েছে। এমনকি যখন মাতা পিতা হন, সন্তান মা হন, তখন ওয়াকাদা রাব্বুকা আল্লা তা'বুদু ইল্লা ইয়াহু, যে পিতা মাতার সাথে সদাচরণ করা, তাদের এমনকি এমন কোনো আচরণ না করে যাতে তাদের মুখ দিয়ে উফ বাড়ে, এমনকি এমন কোন আমি নিজে উফ যেন তাদের সামনে না বলি। আমাদের বাংলাদেশেও বিভিন্ন সোসাইটিতে যেমন অভিভাবকদের সাথে, প্যারেন্টসের সাথে অনেক মন্দ আচরণ হয়, বিশেষ করে নারীদেরকে, স্বামী মারা গেলে নারীদেরকে সম্পদ থেকে বঞ্চিত করা হয় এবং তাদেরকে গলা ধাক্কা দিয়ে ঘর থেকে বের করা হয়। সো বিষয়টা হলো, আইন তো আইনের জায়গাত আছে, কোরআনের বিধান, ইসলামের বিধান সব মর্যাদাটুকু দিয়েছে, কিন্তু ওইটা ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করবে কে? আমি তো খুবই চিন্তা আছি এটা দেখে যে সবাই মাসলা জানে, সবাই বুঝে, কিন্তু সমস্যাটা হলো যে ইমপ্লিমেন্ট হচ্ছে না, মানুষ তার অধিকারটুকু পাচ্ছে না। তো এখন সময় এসেছে আমাদের যে নারী তার অধিকারটুকু ফিরে পাবে। যারা বৃদ্ধ বয়সে এসে গলা ধাক্কা দিয়ে পিতামাতাকে বের করে দেয়, মাকে বের করে দেয় এবং স্ত্রীকে বের করে দেয়, বোনকে বের করে দেয়। সো বিষয়টা হলো খুবই গুরুতর, এটা ইসলাম কখনো এলাও করে না। এবং আল্লাহ রসুল সাল্লাল্লাহু আলাইহি সাল্লামের জীবন সম্পর্কে যদি বলি, তাহলে তিনি তো জীবনে কোনো নারীকে হাতই দেননি, স্পর্শ করেননি। তো না, সম্পূর্ণ হারাম। তো ওইটার প্রক্রিয়া আছে, যদি কোনো ভুল বুঝাবুঝি হয়, কিছু হয়, তাহলে ওই যে আমাদের ফ্যামিলিগত কি বলে এই দাঙ্গা, স্বামী স্ত্রীর মধ্যে বাক বিতনটা, এবং ওটা অনেক সময় মারাত্মক পর্যায়ে চলে যায়। সো ইসলাম বলে যে গড় হবে শান্তির জায়গা, মাওয়াদ্দাতাম ওয়া রাহমা, শান্তির পরিবেশ থাকবে গড়ে। বাক বিতনটা টুকটাক যদি হয় এটা তো স্বাভাবিক, কিন্তু হানাহানি হাঙ্গামার মাধ্যমে সংসার চলে না।
Thank you so much.
অত্যাচারের তো প্রশ্নই।
আমরা অনেক ইনফরমেশন দিছেন। I'm sure our audience are going to see this, and hopefully একটা মানুষ যদি একটা থেকে একটা lesson নিতে পারে, at least that's one person we've tackled. Dear viewers, we do have to go on a short break, so before we start off our conversation in the next oh, okay, we still got 3 minutes, sorry. What I did want to take off from that, Urmiafa, is that you know, the Tajul Bhai, Imam Sahib has said, you know, nowhere in Islam is it okay, like domestic violence or any kind of violence is not okay. What I am seeing is, yes, there's a reduction in numbers now. However, the violence against young girls by their own parents and be it siblings, forced marriages was something that, you know, my friends and stuff, when they knew that I was talking about this today, they wanted to know what is being done about that. How are you recognizing those signs and what is being put in place to stop it from happening?
I think thank you to Khatib Tajul Islam. I mean, he spoke really eloquently and really clearly. আমি বলতে চাচ্ছিলাম যে কোনো ধর্মই use common sense. We are not, you know, scholars or researchers, but কোনো ধর্মই কমন সেন্স তো বলে, কোনো ধর্মই নিশ্চয়ই, ধর্ম তো মানুষের মানবতার জন্য, কোনো ধর্মই নিশ্চয়ই বলতে পারে না যে তুমি মানুষকে মারো কিংবা মানুষকে হত্যা করো, কারণ এটা তো ধর্ম হতে পারে না। সুতরাং সেই দিক থেকেও যদি আমরা চিন্তা করি, আমাদের ধর্মের এত মানে গভীরে যাওয়ার দরকার নেই। ভায়োলেন্স ইজ নট পারমিটেড ইন এনি রিলিজন। সেকেন্ডলি, ইন টার্মস অফ ভায়োলেন্স এগেনস্ট গার্লস, আমাদের, এবং এটা একটা কারণ অজ্ঞতা, you know, awareness, less awareness amongst parents, je this is against the law and you are actually causing harm to your children.
Yeah.
Even if you're beating up a 16-year-old just because she didn't return home by 10 o'clock, or she's wearing something that you do not approve of,
Yeah.
or you do not approve of a lifestyle, whatever the thing is, because you are not going to be able to achieve by beating her up
No.
or by locking her up. If you really want to achieve changes, you need to do something differently. Bujani lagbo.
Yeah.
Furi
Guidance,
reba,
isn't it? It's just not-
guidance,
yeah.
bujani je, this is not right. এবং this is not the values we carry.
We need to come back to this. Dear viewers, please stay with us. We're going on a short break and we will be back to continue our discussions. Thank you. Dear viewers, welcome back to Family Focus, where today's topic is on violence against women and young girls. And I have with me here today two very, very special guests here. I have Urmi Afa, part of our ATN family, and I have Kabir Bhai here, who's from the London Borough Tower Hamlets Council, and he does lots of work with substance abuse. Urmi Afa, before we went to the break, we were, discussing the topic of, forced marriages and how that kind of comes under domestic violence as well. If we just recap on that.
I know that you have got literally very
limited
time.
Yeah.
So in terms of forced marriages, there is now a law, Forced Marriage Act. So if there is any suspicion that this young person is going to be subject to forced marriage, whoever comes into attention of this information, you must just pick up 999, let the police know, and police will then be able to exercise their power under Forced Marriage Act. So under Forced Marriage Act, we can protect a young person from getting
even if they're above 18?
Yeah, forced marriage will, absolutely. And in relation to my conclusion, what I would like to say is violence, whether it's financial violence or abuse, physical violence, emotional violence, psychological violence, it's not allowed. You can't do this, no matter what. You can't find any excuses. এবং আমি প্যারেন্টসের কই, শ্বশুর শাশুড়ির কই, আপনার ফ্যামিলির যারা আসেন, এটা কোনোভাবেই পারমিটেড না। আপনার ফুয়া বা আপনার ফুরি যদি কোনোভাবে তার অ্যাঙ্গার ম্যানেজমেন্ট ইস্যু থাকে, ইউ মাস্ট সিক সাপোর্ট। অনেক সাপোর্ট পাওয়া যায় আজকাল, বিশেষ করে আজকাল ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ ব্যারিয়ারটার কোনো ইস্যু না। কালচারালি, রিলিজিয়াসলি in line with আমরা religious and culturally support আছে. So please support অ্যাক্সেস করুকা, এবং ভায়োলেন্স করলেই যে এই মানুষ খারাপ হয়ে গেল এটাও কিন্তু না। আমরা কিন্তু সরাসরি সোশ্যাল সার্ভিস থেকে বাচ্চা সরাইতাম চাই না, বিকজ আমরা উই বিলিভ যে বাচ্চা যতদিন পর্যন্ত ফ্যামিলির মাঝে তাকে পালা থাকে। সো আমরাও চেষ্টা করি পারপিট্রেটররা সাপোর্ট দিতে। দ্যার আর নাম্বার অফ এরিয়াস দ্যাট the perpetrators can be supported, but perpetrator কিন্তু আপনারা সাপোর্ট চায়। perpetrator কিন্তু একা will not be able to have the fight. So perpetrators also need support. Most importantly, আমরা অ্যাওয়ারনেস রেজ করা লাগবো, স্কুলে অ্যাওয়ারনেস রেজ করা লাগবো, যাতে বাচ্চারা ফ্রম দ্য বিগিনিং শিখে যে ভায়োলেন্স ইজ নট পারমিটেড। আমরা মসজিদও, আমরা যে কোনো কমিউনিটি ফাংশনও, আমরা কমিউনিটি লিডার, তারার একটা বড় রোল আছে যে দে মাস্ট টেল এভরিওয়ান ভায়োলেন্স ইজ নট পারপিট্রেটেড। এবং যারা আমরা কমিউনিটিতে আছে তারা দে উইল লিড বাই তাদের রোল মডেলিং, বিকজ তারা যদি ভায়োলেন্সের লগে জড়িত হয়, বা আমরা কোনো ইমাম যদি আমরা দেখলাম তারা ভায়োলেন্স করে, দ্যাটস নট অ্যাকসেপ্টেবল, বিকজ দেন দ্য হোল থিং উইল কোল্যাপস। সো অ্যাওয়ারনেস, support is there, and you just need to believe in yourself that you deserve a better life.
Right. Thank you so much. If we go over to Kabir Bhai here, what's your kind of roundup and conclusion on today?
So my message is very simple. If you experience abuse, you're not alone, and there is help out there. Tower Hamlets has invested in a wide range of services to support victims and survivors of domestic violence. We work with all our communities, and we've got multiple languages, so there will be access for everyone. It's really important that we work together in order to challenge abuse and support survivors and create lasting change. And I think it's really important. In an emergency, you need to call the police, dial 999 and call the police. Just a few things just to finish off with, that there's no excuse for abuse, and no one should suffer in silence. Tackling violence against women and girls is not just a council responsibility, but it's everyone's responsibility.
Absolutely.
So please report it where you can.
And we have the Nari Centre as well, so that's,
yes, so as I said before, we've got multiple services available. The Nari Centre is the latest edition, which is a centre specifically for women and to support women, and that's on capacity building as well. So there are lots of different activities that are run from the Nari Centre, including supporting domestic violence victims and violence against women and girls. We've got the IDFA service in Tower Hamlets. I've got the phone number if you
Yes, please give it to people.
So the Solace Domestic Abuse Service in Tower Hamlets, the phone number is 0203 795 5064, and the VOG helpline team is 0800 279 5434.
Thank you so much. Thank you both of you for coming today. I know you both have taken time out to come here and inform our audience about this very wide and critical, topic here today. And I hope somebody at home can take something from this, and whether they're a victim, find the help that they need, and if they're a perpetrator, they can also kind of reflect on themselves and see where is this coming from, and also just raising the awareness in general.
Or
So
if they know someone who is a victim,
of course, please come forward and help us. So dear viewers, until next time, I will bring you a new topic, another new pressing hot topic, and two experts hopefully who will talk to us about all these topics. So stay with us until the next time. Thank you.
Thank you.